So that might be good. We got Boston, then Tampa, then I think St. Paul, St. Louis, and then Vegas.
That's
so
perfect.
If I can make it to 5 years, I think that'd be a good one to finish on.
I agree with you, and fans will obviously.
You guys can take over.
Hey, we love it. We love it. No, we appreciate.
You heard it here, ESPN. Welcome back to Pucks in Deep, episode number 86 here. I'm your co-host, Connor Thelman.
And I'm your other co-host, James Murray. Folks, it's the time in the year. College hockey is back, and we got a huge guest on the pod this week, John Buccigross from ESPN.
Did you say Bucci?
I did say Bucci, the OT
or
challenge,
Daddy. Is it
the
Daddy?
legend, Daddy, as he likes to be called. Guys, college hockey's back. If you're listening to this, we're in St. Cloud to shoot a game day experience video for the season opener and
opening day.
Opening day. It's opening day.
It's opening day.
It's opening day. St. Thomas's first inaugural game tonight. And if you want to make it even better, number 1 banner raising night for UMass. They're taking on number 5 Minnesota State. I mean, a bunch of good matchups right out of the gate. But we're here in St. Cloud, catching it all. I mean, the atmosphere is great here already.
Student sections are back. The Dog Pound is here at Herb Brooks Arena.
Yep.
I mean, we're going to see it everywhere, though. Like we said, this is out-of-conference games happening for the first time.
And big out-of-conference games that could, like we talked about in our 2-minute video yesterday. It's,
this is for pairwise. This is to show that you belong in the top 10.
It could come down to at the end of the season. We lost this game.
Absolutely.
Well, that's what we missed it by. So.
Yeah, Mankato, you look at their schedule from last year, obviously they didn't really have to worry about it with CCHA.
Yep.
But, this is one, if they win it early and they struggle a little bit, they look back and they're like, they beat UMass at UMass.
And you talk about these teams, that missed their fans, their student sections, especially last year.
Yep.
UMass is one of those, and that's going to be a tough barn to go into for Minnesota State. Granted, they have the skill. They went to the Frozen Four last year, and they got Mike Richter nominee, Dryden McKay between the pipes. But, man, I tell you, UMass, I mean, there was COVID last year. Did you see that party when UMass rolled back into town? Yeah.
You wouldn't have known.
I mean, it was insane, and they're all going to be in the arena for banner raising night. I wish we could be there. We are going to be just a nice arena, and the Herb Brooks Arena this weekend here in St. Cloud, catching a great matchup in St. Thomas's first game.
Sofo's first game for St. Thomas, D1.
Yep.
D1, been there and done it in D3. It's going to step into those
But it's also
boots.
the first game for many players who entered the transfer portal this offseason and now have a new team.
Peter
it's going to be
Tome.
very interesting. Peter Tome, here we are
Between
in
the
St. Cloud,
pipes.
but for St. Thomas between the pipes, yep. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to take some time to see, all right, which teams did the best at recruiting this offseason, what players made the right decision to the right schools. But who knows who's going to come away as a champion this year, and that's the best part of it. It all starts today.
Dude,
I mean, and we got the number one.
I'm so fired up.
I'm so fired up, and we got college hockey's number 1 advocate and John Buccigross here to break it all down with us.
You would have thought he called us after drinking like 3 Red Bulls. I mean, the guy was ready to talk college hockey, and we recorded this before it was Saturday morning. Like he just lives and breathes it, and so do we.
I feel like puck's dropping like right now.
Yeah,
but it's still 2 days away.
I'm in.
3 days away.
Goosebumps, chills. Like I've been running through walls for 3 days straight. My boss is pissed, but that's what drywall's for. You hang some sheetrock, you're good to go. I mean, there's so many matchups. I also want to touch on Army versus Providence.
Huge matchup.
Another out of conference. Shout
out Coach Riley.
Of the year. Coach of the year going to Providence, Rhode Island. I kind of like Army winning this one. Providence lost Tice Thompson, best player.
Are we going picks right now? Are we starting our picks?
I think we might as well just rip picks quick and then get to Bucci.
All right, let's start. Fine. We got to do our picks.
Army Providence.
We're keeping track of picks this year. We're 0-0. You're about to be 0-7, and I'm about to be undefeated, but let's go.
You're going to pick against Colin Bielik?
Are we going series? We're going the whole series?
Army's just a one-gamer right now.
Okay.
Let's do it all, whatever it is.
Okay.
I got Army over Providence in that one. That's on Saturday.
I'm riding Army with you. I got to, and I don't have a choice, actually. So, Army.
Let's go. Moving on, Sacred Heart, UConn. Honestly, I think it's also a good matchup. Like, Sacred Heart obviously didn't play a full slate last season. They had a lot of COVID struggles. And then when they got back, they kind of couldn't get hot enough at the right time, but they're still a really good team.
Another just 1 game series, but who are you going with?
I'm going to go UConn. I'm going Ice Bus. They still got Johnny Evans over there.
Okay. I'm going Sacred Heart. I think they got a lot to prove.
I wanted to go Atlantic, so I like that pick.
Yep. And I'm riding Atlantic here, heavy to start.
Let's go. All right. So then the game that we're at here, it's going to be a full series.
Do we want to? Are we saying this one right now? We're here.
I'm picking it. I mean, it's already recorded at this point.
Sorry to cut you off.
I'm going, St. Cloud sweep.
St. Cloud sweep. I gotta think it's the same, but do I want maybe a split? I don't know. I definitely want a good game here tonight. For St. Cloud's first game of the season here and St. Thomas's first game. I'm going St. Cloud sweep. However, tomorrow night it's at the X.
Which game's closer? Paul. I think first game's gonna be closer.
I think second game will definitely be closer.
Really? At the X? I think,
I think it's
underneath them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Remains to be seen. Either way, maybe. I don't see the Huskies losing a game this series. Not that St. Thomas is a bad team. This is the number 2 ranked team in the nation.
Yep.
I think they prove it. So, all right, moving on. Miami Ferris State. Ooh, this one's tough. I got to go. Will Cullen. Give me our boy there. The Red Hawks coming in. Obviously, not a great season last year. They still got Ludwig in net, one of the best goalies in the nation. People forget. I mean, he led them to.
It is a series, though. So
well, then sweep. Give me Miami. Sweep. I'm
going split. I think Ferris steals one. They're gritty. Get that first CCHA win in there.
True.
I'm taking Ferris State in a split, but okay. I think I'll go Miami first night. Ferris State steals the second one. We'll see though.
All right. So we got UMass facing off at home against the Mavs. Both games in UMass Amherst. There, obviously big atmosphere. What do you? I'm thinking split here.
You're thinking split?
Yep. I got split. I like UMass a little bit more, but the Mavericks are just so good home or away. It doesn't really matter. A lot of guys returning for them. I mean, I just read today that Nathan Smith is back, and I was just like, holy shit. I mean, they're loaded. They're still loaded. Still got the tendy. I'm going to go split.
Yeah. DeMike, please let me back in UMass, but I'm not going with you guys this week. I'm taking sweep from Minnesota State. Dryden McKay, he's pissed. Dryden McKay's pissed.
Oh,
he's had 2 hell of a seasons the last 2 years.
He has.
Cato's hungry.
They are.
They didn't give the Gophers a breath last year in the tournament.
Facts.
They're all back, mostly ready to go. I think they're going to come in, ruin banner night for UMass, and take the next one, head home, and run the CCHA this year.
I mean, their fans were livid when we put them at 8.
Yeah,
in the
but
rankings.
you know what?
So they're fired up.
Yeah, I know, and I think we did on purpose. But
sure did.
Yeah, no,
don't regret it. All right, moving on.
Did. Yep.
We got to fire them up. So Minnesota, Alaska, another series that is
go for sweep.
Go for sweep. Yeah, I'm going for it.
Okay.
Moving
next
on.
Series.
Shout out Crookshank. Love you. Vermont, Mercyhurst.
Stop texting me, Grant.
I'm just seeing this. Yeah, seriously. It's getting a little weird. We got Catamounts, Mercyhurst. I'm going to go split here. I think Mercyhurst, Bendy, I love them.
Can't do it.
You're going Vermont?
No.
Vermont had 1 win last year.
I'm going sweep.
For Mercyhurst?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, my boy Hank, 5th year, in between the pipes from Mercyhurst.
Hold up,
former
Patrick
Bemidji
Sharp
guy.
is in the building now. Patrick Sharp.
I know that, but you're talking Mike Bendorf's also in the building,
in the
right?
gut, in the Gutterson Fieldhouse, rocking.
Yeah, where do you think Mike's going to be? Middle of that shit.
Mike Bendorf does travel. You're right.
Yeah, yep. So, no, shout out Bendy and shout out my boy Hank between the pipes. Hoping for a good year from you, but all in all, no favorites here. I just think Mercyhurst edges them out barely in both games.
Mercyhurst is good. People forget. And Vermont,
I'm going heavy Atlantic first week. Why not?
You really are.
I mean, I am ripping Atlantic, and why not? So
hell yeah, I love it. Okay, Michigan, Bowling Green here.
Mm.
I'm gonna go Michigan sweep. I think Bowling Green could steal one.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I do. But Michigan, they got a lot to prove. Obviously, I think they come out swinging. I mean, home. Is it a home and home? Let me see.
No, they're both at Yost.
They're both at Yost. Yeah, definitely sweep. Yep. Michigan. Moving on, we got a 1-gamer. Michigan against Bowling Green. What do we got here? Michigan for me.
Michigan. Yep.
Michigan.
It's not even a debate, really.
Bowling
Green lost their whole team and their fathers and mothers and everyone. So
they do have some young talent coming in.
They do, and some transfers, but it's
right.
Michigan, and Michigan knows they can't lose that first game with how high they're predicted to win. And
everybody's going to be eyes on them. It's Bowling Green. If you lose this, I mean, that's like the Gophers losing to Bowling Green. Not to say it, but like bad. Sound the alarms bad. It's not going to happen. Michigan.
All
right, moving on. Big matchup here. We got a mittens-less Lake State team, but they do. What do they have, James?
Seymour,
the Sea Duck.
Sea Duck. It's in Omaha, he travels.
And Benito Poza, our guy.
Benito Poza there, but also my boy Brandon McManus, a transfer out of Minnesota to Omaha. They got Taylor Ward back. Treniak, a bunch of guys back in
Isaiah
Omaha.
Seville,
and then
one of the best goalies
they're ready.
In the nation.
They're tournament bound last season. Tough loss in the first round, but you know what? Omaha's back. They're hungry
at home.
I'm going to sweep for Omaha this weekend.
Sweep for Omaha. I'm gonna go.
I think you got someone.
There's just too much Seymour and Benito in my eyes right now. I'm gonna say split. I am leaning Nebraska, so I'm not surprised if they sweep, but we'll see. Yeah. I mean, Lake State's feisty.
They are. Don't sleep on a CCHA team. That's for sure.
You do not want to.
Colgate RIT. Who do you got?
That's a game. Okay.
Yeah.
Colgate RIT. It is at RIT, right? Corner Crew's rocking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go RIT. I mean, they got everybody returning basically too. Will Calverley, one of the best players in the Atlantic. People forget Hobie nominee last year. We do like Colgate, obviously close ties. Associate head coach there. Recent promo, Dana Borges, shout out. I don't think this is a series, right? If it was
it's just a one gamer.
Split, one gamer at RIT, tough to start the season. I think it's going to be close. I like RIT.
Yeah, you know what? I want to pick RIT, but they don't have DeMike between the pipes anymore.
They do not.
And Borges just texted me PJ to Colgate to fly with the team to RIT or to bus with the team.
Tough
to RIT.
To turn down. I mean,
I don't know if I'm supposed to be in St. Cloud.
Guardians
Saturday,
of the Gate.
Guardians of the Gate. The bus says go Gate, and can you imagine driving down the highway and everyone
that pod was
Gate?
So much fun.
Yeah, but anyways, long story short, I'm picking Colgate. Colgate starts 1-0. The boys are juiced, and they've been ready to get one under their belt here.
Okay, all right. I think last series here, Arizona State, UMass Lowell. What do we got? I'm thinking forks up sweep. I got Johnny Walker in my sights here. I mean, the boys obviously missing Dominic Garcia. I mean, he was the heart and soul of the team, but you got to turn to the now married. Isn't he married, Johnny Walker? I mean, the guy's paying out his mortgage.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
I mean, something. He's a wagon. He's gonna be fully healthy this season. Also, Copperroot, shout out to him. Another guy, just ripping and tearing out there for his sophomore year. Excited to see what they can do. Last season, that they're gonna be in Oceanside Arena here, so they've been missing the fans. They didn't have a home game all last year. They are pumped to play there. It doesn't matter if it's not the new stadium. Look for forks going up. UMass Lowell, obviously still a good team. They almost made the tournament last year by winning out. I still like Arizona State. Sweep me, baby.
Sweep me. Well, I'm going the opposite way. I'm going sweep for UMass Lowell.
All right.
I think, they're always slept on. Every year they're slept on.
They are.
A lot of good recruits coming in, some transfers. I don't know. I think UMass Lowell, it's going to be close games regardless. I think they sneak out with a sweep over ASU.
Sneaky's backdoor sweep.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's coming. And UMass Lowell, I mean, they look so good at the tournament last year in the conference tournament, and I was just like, why not?
All right.
They're back. The boys are back, and they're hungry, and they always get slept on. Yeah, love the Jays too. One of my favorite Jays in college hockey. I'm Ryan Riverhawks for a sweep. No disrespect to you, Johnny Walker. You did do a terrible job on our story, but you know what? Class comes first, I guess.
It's a tough go for him. Yeah. Wait,
God, did you see him on our story? Man, he looked tough. It was a tough night for him in school.
I think he's going to be ready for these games, but thank God they weren't playing that day. I'll say that. It was a tough go.
But just fun, Johnny. Just fun. We love the Sun Devils.
Yeah, Jaywalks 96. Go follow him. We did miss actually one more game. Northeastern Bentley, one gamer at Northeastern. Okay, good.
We're gonna pick our boy, new addition to the squad here at ECH. Plebs, former Northeastern guy. I'm taking Northeastern.
Okay, so last series that we got to pick here, Penn State it's at Penn State against LIU. That's how they're opening it up.
That's tough for LIU.
Very tough for the Sharks.
I still think they'll put up a battle with them. Why not? You're in one of the the best atmospheres in college hockey. They're going to be juiced. It's the opening night.
Right. Shout out to our guys who took over the story.
Yeah, they did a great job. And LIU is definitely on the rise. And I think it's going to be close matchups. I think Penn State needs to sweep though, and so they're going to. They cannot lose to LIU at home to start the season. They need a good start to the season after last season. I'm gonna go split. Okay. I'm feeling a little. I like it. I wouldn't sleep on the Finns. No. Finns up here. I got fever. I mean, their facilities look great. They got a lot of recruits from the portal. We talked about how many teams are going to get stacked from this portal this year. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're going to keep building like that. So Penn State came out slow last season too. People forget. All right, there you have it. That's all of our picks this season. Huge slate this weekend. So make sure you hold us to who won that. I don't know how it's going to turn out. A lot of Atlantic for James here. But remember, you can do your own picks as well, not only for college hockey, but how about some football games coming up, both college and NFL, James? Yeah. You want to download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code THPN to receive $150 in free bets when you place $1 in any football game. That's promo code THPN this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. All right, there you have it, people. Go to DraftKings, make yourself some money. I might do the same, but in a different fashion, because personally, I know who's going to win it all. Frozen Four. I mean, I got all that. It's not bad. I mean, nobody knows, but we're going to give you our takes, people. James, who do you got in Boston this year? Who's taking it all? Who's taking it all? There's a lot of good teams that can make it. If you want to hear Buccigross's pick, you're going to wait later in the show. He gives his opinion, who he's got. You're going to want to hear myself, I'm going to take a different team. I'm going Minnesota. The Gophers, a lot of returners. They lost a tough one last year to Mankato that snubbed them from going to the Frozen Four. Sammy Walker back in the house, Mike Richter award winner, Jack LaFontaine, good buddy of mine, Grant Cruikshank, everyone is in the building, transfer from CC, a captain. A lot of big guys. Brodzinski's coming. So many guys ready. McLaughlin. I think the Gophers can do it. Everyone's overlooking them. Everyone's looking at Michigan and they're picked to win the Big Ten and all this stuff. I think the Gophers are going to slide under and win it. Not only that, they're playing for Bob's late son, Mac. Tragic, obviously lost this couple months ago. I think that's going to rally them, and they're going to win it for him.
Okay.
Who do you got?
That was a lot of detail, and I loved every little bit of it. I mean, as a Gopher fan growing up, I do like that pick, but I turned into a Bulldogs fan when I, went to college there and witnessed all these national championships, all these Frozen Four trips. We did it again last year. Honestly, I thought we outplayed UMass until overtime. Blew that chance there. A lot of guys coming back. Lost a lot of great guys too. I mean, the biggest that jump out to me, Swain Show.
Yep.
The big guy on campus. Obviously, Kate's brother down. The other one's got to step up here. And then Cole Koepke. All those are tough to replace, but why not with just a big ass body and Will Francis holding it back?
Yeah.
Buccigross mentions that their defense kind of carried them to their national championships. You got that. You got Wyatt Kaiser back there. I mean, Bulldogs, they know how to get there. Sandilan's still in the house. People forget. I'm riding the Bulldogs. I'm a homer. It's just gonna happen. Let's go Dogs. Let's freaking go Dogs. Grandma's not there, but I'll build it back up. I'll burn it back down, and I can't wait to see them in Boston.
Well, okay, there we go. There's
Let's
your picks
ride,
right
baby.
there. Without further ado,
already. Okay,
it's John Buccigross, people. College hockey is back. John.
Bartender. And now, welcome on a very special guest joining us. We have the father of college hockey, and just a legend at ESPN. You know him, John Buccigross. Bucci, welcome to the show.
I prefer Daddy.
Daddy Buccigross works absolutely too. I'll say it.
Oh, no, thanks for joining us today.
Sounds great.
Man, we're excited to have you on. College hockey is back. I mean, it's been a long time coming since we've actually had fans in the arena. It's going to be sold out across the country. I mean, what are your thoughts on hockey being back?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, we had a few at the Frozen Four,
which
was nice after having nothing at regionals. So, it was a smattering in Pittsburgh, but still it was good. Yeah, and hopefully we have no hiccups and the barns are full, the students are back, and it will all culminate in Boston next April, which is obviously a great city to host a Frozen Four.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last time we were there, Providence beat Jack Eichel and BU. So a lot has happened since then for BU and Providence and Jack Eichel. So looking forward to getting there again next April.
Love that. Have you had a chance to look at any of the big matchups that we have this weekend? Obviously starting Saturday, I think Minnesota State versus UMass jumps out the most to us. But what matchups are you looking forward to the most?
Yeah, that's that's definitely a great one there. 2 Frozen Four teams from last year. How many times can UMass reload since Cale Makar? I think people thought that'd be a kind of one and doneer with him there, and then he leaves. But they bring it on back and they win their first national championship. And Minnesota State certainly a consistent team who always seems to be there. They have a lot coming back, including the goalie. So that's a great way to start the season, and that's the way it should be. These strong non-conference matchups, and it's great for attention and great for the players that they want to play in those kinds of games. There'll be a big crowd for UMass. I think it's sold out.
Oh yeah,
so it'll be buzzing
again. In Minnesota State, those guys are they're used to that. They'd rather play in a road game like that than a quiet one. So it gives them a chance to put their defense together and maybe come away with a road win. So it'll be a good night for college hockey and for UMass to raise the banner and try to do it again.
Yeah. I mean, I think they can do it again. That's for sure. They're reloading. They got a new locker room coming. That's going to be released this week. We've heard. Yep. But also with good things, we have St. Thomas playing their first game this weekend. We'll be there in St. Cloud. They take on the number 2 Huskies. What are your thoughts on St. Thomas joining the mix here?
Yeah, it's awesome for Rico Blasi to get another shot after being let go in Miami after really building that program and taking them to Frozen Fours. Obviously, the heartbreaking national championship game lost to BU. They had that obviously right there in their grips and gave up 2 goals late, and then the overtime one by Colby Cohen, who now works for us at ESPN.
Great guy.
Shout out.
And doing some Blackhawk stuff during the regular season. So, so good for Rico to get back. A lot of people think that's a sleeper program that's going to get good quickly. Obviously a beautiful campus, high academic standards. So there's there's some people think they can be good very quickly and do really well in Minnesota, recruiting a certain kind of player, certain kind of student. And so it's going to be interesting to see how quickly Rico can use some. I'm sure he'll use very similar principles that he used in Oxford. But to be right there in a big hockey market like that for recruiting, it'll be fun to watch to see if he can do that. And I think St. Cloud certainly is a team that is a national championship contender. They're loaded and committed, and I think they should be very excited for this year.
Yeah, like they got just basically everybody coming back for them. So they're I think that'll be a tough first matchup for St. Thomas, but obviously a lot to prove there. And, you know, they have a lot of guys they signed off the portal. So they should be good pretty quick, and they kind of have to with how, I mean, Minnesota is 10, almost top 10 rated in the USCHO team. So they kind of got it's tough shoes to fill there. But my question was, you know, for the Frozen Four last year, obviously a lot different than, you know, the previous time you're in Pittsburgh calling at PPG Paints Arena, or the last time you were there, it was when Yale won it all in 2013. Like, how much do you think that changed the outcome of the game? Like, how different would it have been had it been sold out, or even for, you know, regionals where there's a sellout crowd, let's say?
Yeah, it's hard to say, because I think, you know, obviously some players tighten up in those situations. Some players they thrive. They're kind of, you know, they're kind of show offs. They like to ham it up and put on a show, and other people shrink. So it really it's hard to say. But in the end, you know, UMass was certainly built to win it. Their goalie was red hot. They had plenty of experience. Obviously, NHL defensemen on the back line, and losing one, but we'll have some future ones. So they just, you know, they're kind of that model of older players. You get some younger players who contribute, and then you have the really good goaltender, and that's what it's all about. So I'm not sure if it really would have changed much. UMass was a dominating team the last couple of months. I mean, they were absolutely, you know, they were dump trucking people. They were really, it really wasn't a surprise when you look at, you know, their goals and their goals against, and the deficits of their victories. It really was a breeze for them, and they're really, really a deserving national champion.
I agree. They did, you know, lose some players to now pro and some to the portal. Speaking of the portal, though, you know, what are your thoughts on the portal this year? It's, for me, almost been like an NHL free agency. We've seen players go all over the country now.
That's crazy.
For us, it's almost hard to follow for new rosters and stuff. But what has it been like for you following that? And what are your thoughts on the portal?
Yeah, it's you know, obviously, you know, it's good for students to have some freedom, and certainly to choose a place where they might, you know, feel like they can thrive, and certainly fifth-year players as well. And so, yeah, it's a good option. We'll see how it turns out. We'll see going forward what it means, and how it affects some development of some younger players who might not get a chance to play now because they're able to transfer over some older players with experience. You know, Boston College was active as well. We'll see what that means. You still need to be a cohesive team and play together, and play with one cause in mind. So, you know, that can be difficult when you bring different people in. But hockey players, you know, they usually fall in line pretty good. So it'll be fun to watch, and we'll see how it goes. And I'm sure, you know, I'm all for trying things, and then you can always change it up and change rules and the like. But I think overall, once the games start and things start going, we'll have a good idea pretty quickly on who's good and who isn't.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. No, for sure. One thing I have to ask is just, I mean, you kept us on our toes, I'd say, on Twitter all season last year, even like when you're, you know, anchoring Sports Center. Like, how are you watching games on your phone in between takes, or like, how do you beat us to some of these highlights sometimes?
Sometimes we have a lot of TVs at ESPN, and a lot of games on. And occasionally I'll be keeping an eye on some games and on my phone, and certainly, like I said, right near us here we have monitors. I can ask them, hey, put that game on. I want to watch that game. So yeah, you know, obviously since I started doing the Frozen Four, I wanted to really, you know, give college hockey the proper commitment and the proper attention it deserves, and really wanted to be all in for the student athletes and and for the players playing. So that's always been my goal. I hope it continues. You know, now that we have NHL at ESPN, I'll be doing some games this year in the NHL and hosting some shows. So I certainly haven't heard anything different from ESPN. That I hope I'm still doing the Frozen Four, and hopefully we do a couple regular season games. Haven't heard otherwise. So I certainly would like to keep doing it for a few more years.
Absolutely. We'd love that as well. We enjoy listening to you and watching you every Frozen Four. Is there anything, though, in particular that makes you, you know, the biggest advocate for college hockey, you know, versus the NHL as well? Like, what stands out to you about college hockey that you just love?
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved every level, you know, since certainly at the NHL, and then starting doing the college hockey, probably around 2006 or 7, I started to call regional games.
Okay.
And then my boys started playing. So certainly youth hockey, prep school hockey. My older son played. So yeah, I just love every single level, from the backyard rink I had in my house to youth hockey to high school to prep school to college, the NHL. It's just, I love every level. It's all a little different, and just some different flavors. But certainly, I've always loved college, the on-campus experience. I love my 4 years, and I've always thought about going back and teaching on a campus and coaching a team of some sort. So I've always, really, really enjoyed the college campus life, and so certainly going to these rinks and these smaller rinks and being around these people who have their dreams, whether it's a player or whether it's a coach, and I really love all the humility and the small town feel of it. It's really been a blessing, and I've really enjoyed it. And so that's probably the biggest attraction. It's a little bit smaller than the NHL. It's people at the start of their dream, looking ahead, and that's always exciting to be around.
Mm-hmm. I agree. A lot of connections you can make through the game that we've already made through the game as well. One of those being Jack Adams. I reached out to him about you a while ago, and I know you're close with that family. Thank you for doing that, first of all. But talk about the guy Jack is and how that relationship's kind of grown over the years.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Jack, playing at Notre Dame this year.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously starting off at Union, getting drafted by the Red Wings and the big knee injury, coming back to Providence, where his late brother played and won a national championship. Yep. But certainly his dad started the golf tournament to raise money. I played in that the last couple of years, and so certainly just an awful experience they've had to go through. I can't imagine it. And obviously like to be there for anybody in any way that I can. And I'm just rooting for Jack to have a really good year in South Bend, and to wear that sweater is pretty special.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, he can get back on track here hockey-wise. He's got good hands, good size down low, and I think he could have a good year in the Big Ten.
Yeah, we agree. Absolutely rooting for Jack 100%. So.
Is this his last year eligibility?
Yes. So.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. God, that's gonna be him and Karashik coming to Notre Dame from UConn too.
Yep. Notre Dame will be competitive again this year, and we're excited to watch some Big Ten hockey. That's for sure.
Yeah, we're fired up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Michigan's obviously the big favorite there. Really a great story with all those first-round draft picks, and you want to see it come together. It'd be fun. I think it'd be good for college hockey for them to get off to a good start, and have that big name school do well, and perhaps make the Frozen Four. That's certainly always good for college hockey. So it'll be interesting to see, but it's not easy. They're still certainly young with all those players just in their second year coming back.
Right.
Luke Hughes in his first year. It's usually older players, experienced players has really been the formula for college hockey, but they have a couple of those, and they have such talent. It'll be really interesting to see. That's going to be fascinating to watch how it comes together, and if it can really be a special season or not.
Yeah, I was looking forward to their matchup with UMD last season before it was cut off. So, they're definitely going to be hungry. Got a lot of, obviously, young talent coming in too. But my question was, what's a team right now that's kind of a sleeper that nobody's really talking about that you think has a good chance at making the tournament this year?
That's a good one, because certainly it seems like we have all those teams coming back, and certainly you mentioned St. Cloud. They should be a really good factor. Minnesota State's always good. Will UMass be that team that goes on a run here with this core? Obviously, they've lost some players, but still some players remain, and that's always good to have. Could they be a team that's kind of on a heater right now in this decade? The Minnesota Golden Gophers are a team that's really strong.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a great brand name going back in the day. Bob Motzko comes down, and now they're trying to kind of rebuild it after going through a little bit of a drought. I think they're a team with some experience, some new blood. Obviously, when you say Minnesota, it's not a Cinderella story, but there is so much parity in college hockey. Really at this point, it's anybody's ball game, and anybody certainly can feel good about themselves and can play the underdog role. I know in Minnesota, obviously everyone's talking about St. Cloud, and you have UMass, and so Minnesota I think they should feel pretty good about themselves, and be a team that can really kind of creep up. Michigan's going to take a lot of the attention because of the first round picks, but I think Minnesota, this could be maybe their year to make a run.
We like hearing that. I mean, we're from Minnesota here. Is that not that I root for them right now because I went to UMD, but it still gives me a little goosebumps. So
it should be a good year.
I think I agree with that. And obviously, again, sad story that Bob lost his son tragically a couple months ago. But I talked to a couple of the boys this week, and they want to play for him and win a championship for him, no doubt. So I think they're a team to beat right now as well.
Yeah, Michigan's not going to run away with the Big Ten by any stretch of the imagination. I think they'll be 1 and 2 right there.
It'll be fun to watch, and I do agree with you that it is good if they do get to a hot start, though. It's good for college hockey.
On top.
Yep, it's going to be fun to watch Harvard too. They have a couple really good freshmen coming in. USHL leading scorer and leading goal scorer, and so that's going to be kind of fun to watch and see what the ECAC is really kind of wide open this year. No one really knows what's going to happen. Obviously the Ivy's taking the year off. What does that mean for development and the players who obviously never got there and the new ones coming in it's really hard to gauge what's up with the ECAC. And so that's going to make it kind of fun. Some people think it might be kind of a down year for the conference after having such a good run there. Obviously Yale winning their first national championship and Union winning a national championship. And I think, Cornell, they had a lot of loyalty from their team, a lot of loyalty from their coach. And you wonder if they'll be, repaid for that karma-wise. You wonder if Cornell can get off to a start and maybe make a run and maybe get to a Frozen Four. And I would keep an eye on Cornell. I just got a good feeling about them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guarantee you the fans will be there. They got maybe one of the best fan bases in college hockey. You talk about the ECAC, them, Harvard, Clarkson. And there are a bunch of good student sections out there. So
a lot of them. Dartmouth's good.
Dartmouth too. Yeah,
great. So, it really is it was an underrated conference for a while. Now people know that they're right there. They play tournament hockey all year long, and when the tournament comes along, they're ready. They have a lot of them have older players, older players. And they can beat those 18, 19-year-old teams. I know you can't say no to a first-round pick when you're a coach. You want talent. You want to coach talent. You want to win with talent. But we know the formula is for older players, and you got to try to – if you have some of those young guys, you need to be recruiting and building that you have an older squad as well. So when those guys show up, you can plug them into an older team and get the most out of them. So that's what the ECAC has had that pretty good secret sauce for a while, but we'll see if they can get back at it or if they're going to have a little bit of a down stretch here.
Yeah, it will be interesting, no doubt.
Yeah, they've had, you mentioned just having older players all buying into a system, developing over the years. A team that does that the best, I think, is UMD. Just getting to 4 Frozen Fours in a row now, something like that. Do you think they could get back for yet another? I'm hoping. Wow, but what do you think?
Yeah, they were the team of the last decade, and they have just a really interesting culture, a very unique culture. They get players to stick around. It's only a certain kind of a kid they recruit. They identify them, and then when they come in, the players all buy in. They want to, like I said, once they're there, a lot of them will stick around extra years. When other places they might leave, they really kind of like it. They buy in, like you said. And it's just, will they have that high end? It's just a great decor when they went through their run. Yeah. Really NHL quality people.
Right.
Can they replace that? They had a great goalie for a couple of years. So it really came together for them well. But, can they continue to get that high-end guy, get the breaks? They had such character leaders. It was just a perfect formula there for a few years. But it's not easy. It's every year, every couple of years is a new stretch. And so certainly they're going to always get high-end people here. They're going to certainly live off these last few years and get good guys to come in, at least to identify the potential. But, will they sink into what they do there? And will the combinations all work? That's why we love sports. You just don't know for sure. But certainly they still should be a factor for years to come. Scott Sandlin is a great coach, NHL caliber. He's interviewed for NHL jobs, as have a few other, college coaches. Nate Lehman was up, for pro jobs. So there's some really good coaches out there. There's, I've always said there's too many players. There's not enough teams for the players and the coaches that are out there. The coaching is deep. It's quality. The players, it's deep. It's quality. So, college hockey is really healthy. There's really professional level coaching. Certainly Scott Sandlin's at the top of that list.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. You mentioned more teams. Who do we got next coming to the mix? We saw St. Thomas this year. We got Lindenwood, I believe, is coming out. Augustana's announced stuff. But who else do you think is the next to make that push to D1?
Yeah, Augustana is going to, officially announce it on Tuesday. To talk about, they're going to launch a little uniform that day.
Ooh.
And, they'll probably hire their coach next May, go through this year, start to identify some people. They've already got people calling them, so they'll have no problem getting a guy to build a program, pretty quickly, pretty strong. But yeah, certainly, you look at the Big Ten with all that money and the Big Ten network and all the money in the middle of the country, Lincoln, Nebraska, or certainly Illinois was real close right before the pandemic, announcing, their launch of a team. I got to think that's still going to happen soon here. Hopefully it's during this season. But, yeah, I was told there's more in the pipeline. There's more teams coming. And so, we'll just have to wait and see. Like I said, Illinois was really close. I got to think they're going to be one of the next couple teams. But like I said, I was told the other day that there's more coming. I'll try to dig and find out who they are. But, yeah, it's a good sign for college hockey. It's a great sport. It's usually very good student athletes, good kids, 18 scholarships. It's a good motto, I think. I think a lot of these schools are better off getting rid of football and really investing in hockey. And I'm hoping more and more teams do that.
Well, we hope so too. And the Big Ten especially is, and the conferences with money. Why not Iowa? The hockey be perfect there. Like, they got the money and. Yeah,
I agree. Northwestern is a perfect kind of school for college hockey. High academic standards. It's in an urban area, certainly near Chicago. There's plenty of talent to recruit from in that part of the country, and certainly USHL teams are out there as well that you can recruit from. So I would think that's a perfect kind of school as well. And then of course, eventually out west is can you get Pac-12 schools involved? Again, there's just it's a good fit. Certainly now with Seattle having a team, Washington's there, and Oregon and Stanford. These just seem like a really good college hockey schools. And I know the NHL has tried to get owners and schools together to somehow come up with a plan to invest because, obviously it's an expensive sport to start. Ever since Terry Pagula launched Penn State, that's been kind of the model. Yep. Find someone with $100 million to build an arena and to finance the scholarships for the band. And if you're going to start a women's program, to finance those as well. So that's kind of the formula. And it's hard to find those people. But that's kind of the model now in some form or fashion.
No, it is. And now look at Penn State, arguably one of the best student sections in college hockey. Obviously a very competitive team, men's and women's, and good for them. And now we see ASU as well, and they're getting a new arena, and people are watching them closely to see if they're going to be successful. And their team's seen some success, but obviously they haven't had the barn yet, but it's coming, and it's going to be easy to recruit for them too next year. So
it's already
it'd be nice to see a team down in Florida, as well.
I agree.
Florida does produce D1 and NHL players. Again, the more you can grow it around, NHL teams certainly create hockey fans, and certainly college has the potential maybe to do that as well. So
even in California too.
Get some SEC
they got plenty of hockey out there as well.
Going. Yeah.
Absolutely. USC, UCLA, being around Los Angeles.
That would be hard to say no to those schools.
That'd be good.
Yeah, get everybody to pick up hockey early. Just be like, you can go to these schools.
There you go.
Get after it. What about, the tournament? Obviously, right now it's 16 teams. Do you ever see it expanding to more teams, similar to like what, the March Madness does? Like maybe 32 teams for hockey or, something.
Yeah, 32 is definitely too many.
Yeah.
You maybe could come up with something with playing games, maybe to get to 16. Maybe have 20 or more than maybe have 4 play-in spots, 4 extra spots, and have like a little play-in game to get there, perhaps. And yeah, that could expand it a little bit, create some revenue. I think the next thing is really having on-campus games.
Yeah.
Early on the tournament, as opposed to neutral sites. It seems like the environment would be better. Seems like you'd sell more tickets. You'd have more revenue. I know they want to create a neutral site game so no one has an advantage. But, if a team is a higher seed and they've had a better record during the regular season, they deserve a home game. Mm-hmm. And I got to think that, a player still wants to play in a good environment. Certainly when Fargo is out, has a regional, and North Dakota's there, it's a home game for North Dakota.
It is.
But, when Quinnipiac went out there a few years ago, and obviously it was a complete road game for them, but I guarantee those players would rather have played in that atmosphere than to play in front of 1,500 people in Grand Rapids, Michigan, or Cincinnati. They'd rather play in that road, and they love that environment. So I think that's something that the NCAA should look at, to have these on-campus games. It's good for TV. It's good for the players. Perhaps you sell a few more tickets and have a little more revenue. So, I kind of hope they go in that direction, and we'll see what happens here in the coming years.
I like that.
Oh, that would be huge, because I mean, as a UMD fan, watching them against North Dakota last year, going into that, I was like, they don't have a chance. I mean, that is a home game. There's finally fans in there. Obviously, they pulled it off in a big, triple OT winner there, but it's a quadruple.
And that's kind of cool this year, how they're having the day off between games 1 and game 2.
Yeah, that's a nice change,
which is kind of interesting. It's an extra night in the hotel. You're trying to find something to do in Bridgeport, Connecticut could be tough, but it does make sense. I guess some of those are the early game winner on day 1 was starting to have a big advantage. They noticed, certainly the winning percentage of that team it's an advantage. You get more rest, obviously, than the teams who play in game 2, especially if game 2 is going overtime or multiple overtime. That's a quick turnaround. So funny, I never really thought of that all those years I was doing it, that first team has about a 5-6 hour rest advantage. Doesn't seem like a lot, but you can kind of see the rhythm of the day, and the other team's already rested and probably to bed a little bit earlier, because when you play a game at night, the adrenaline's flowing. It's hard to go to sleep.
Right.
And so maybe that early team did have an advantage. So to give them an off day, have the teams practice, and if they're in a place where maybe they can go do something and that they can do as a team, and then and the parents as well, maybe better chance to visit with their sons, and I guess that's good. So that's going to be interesting to see how that feels this year with that day off in between, and does it stretch it out? Does it make it too slow and it's not good? But I'm sure, and again, I'm all for trying things. You can always change the back if it doesn't work. It's not that big a deal. So I'd be curious to see how that feels.
Yeah. Exciting changes coming. I mean, that and just allowing players to, finally accept endorsements, all that. So a lot of different changes coming from the NCAA, which is good to see.
Yeah, the name, image, and likeness. In fact, I'm gonna work with a couple of women hockey players to launch, my college hockey line there. I'm going to launch a hoodie with a couple of college hockey players. I hope I can announce that next week. One from Northeastern, one from Wisconsin, to kind of, support them and to have them, push the gear on their social media, their Instagram, and give them, a little bit of scratch for that, and to kind of to experience something like that. So I'm doing it more for them than for me. If I break even, I'll be happy, but it'll be cool to work with them and give women's college hockey some attention, and these student athletes some attention. And so I'm looking forward to doing that and hopefully announcing that next week.
Absolutely. I mean, you got a couple buyers right here. We'll make sure to repost that.
There you go. Yeah. These are some really good hoodies. So Christmas season's coming. So
let's go.
Well, doing that next week.
We'll put it on our socials when you get it out and make the announcement for it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it.
That'll be huge. One question I had for sure is, I mean, you've been calling college hockey for so long now. Like, what's the biggest difference that you've noticed, like, in just how the game is played today compared to, say 10, 20 years ago?
Yeah, the skill is just unbelievable. The men and the women, it's just so fast, and it's so funny. I'll talk to former NHL players like Ray Ferraro, and he goes back, and his sons who played Landon still played in Europe. He's probably close to the end of his career, but like when Landon was 17, 16, and Ray would go on the ice with him, Ray's like, he's way better than I ever was. And Ray scored 400 NHL goals, and had a really amazing NHL career, played 1,000 games. But he says, my son's way better than I am, and Landon, was able to play a few NHL games, but nothing like his dad did. And so just how good these players are, and the skill and the speed, it really is something. So yeah, they've done a good job taking hits from behind out, and now they're working on headshots. And so the NHL is going to have an emphasis on cross-checking this year. Mm-hmm. So it's the skill and the speed, and now the depth. Like I said, there's too many players and too many coaches for the amount of teams there are. So anybody can really, if you could just recruit well, and obviously some schools have more of an advantage than others, but if you just get in a good run there and get the right 6 to 10 guys, and you get a goalie and you get the right character, anybody can pop up and win a national championship. Like I said, since I started doing the national championship game, you've had Yale win their first, UMass win their first, Union win their first. So it's in Providence win their first. So it's been really cool. Now, certainly had UMD, and they went on their run, and the Denver Pioneers, a great college hockey program as well, and who could bounce back this year. And I had North Dakota winning down there in Tampa against Quinnipiac, and Quinnipiac was in 2 finals. Whoever thought Quinnipiac would be in a national championship game, 25 years ago, back in the day when it was just BC and Minnesota and BU.
Right.
But,
they're getting top talent now,
2
too.
championship games. Yeah, it's just, it's wide open now. Anybody, if you just get the right little mix here, and anybody is able to build a national championship program.
Yeah, no, that's
the best part.
It's well put. Yeah, and that's why teams or schools like Augustana are like, let's get in this right now. Like, let's establish a market.
Yeah, if we get 18 scholarships and they got 18 scholarships, and we get the right guys, and we can do it. And like I said, Quinnipiac and Yale and Union and Providence, and they've all proven that if you get the right guys, you don't need a lot of them. Get special 6 to 12 guys, and the other 6 guys are, it's very even to the whole thing. There's Division III players who can play Division I hockey if it was the right opportunity and the right timing.
Yep,
and
for sure.
They're certainly good enough. And so, it's really exciting when you look at it that way, that really anybody has a shot.
Right. I mean, even like RIT making that run, I think, what was it, 2010?
Exactly.
Like, Frozen Four right there. Like, I do want to jump back quick to, you mentioned that you're starting up that new hoodie line with a couple girls in women's hockey from, I think, Wisconsin and Northeastern, was it?
Right. Yep.
So just helping them out. But can we just quickly pivot to, the Bucci Overtime Challenge right now? Currently wearing a tank, as I mentioned before. Make sure you guys check out the website. Yeah, not a big deal. It did earn it, I think, from Skylar Fontaine, OT winner last season. So
that's cool.
So shout out to her. But how did that all start? And did you know that it was gonna take off like it did at the time?
No, I have no idea what's going to take off. I just do things for fun. Back in the day, NHL Tonight days before you guys were born, we would be sitting there on the set waiting for the game to end because our show would follow the game during the playoffs, and me, Ferraro, and Barry Melrose would just throw $1 on the set, pick a guy on each team, and if one of our guys scored, we grabbed the other $2, start the show. If nobody picked the guy, we'd put our own $1 back in our pocket and start the show. And then soon after I joined Twitter, I just kind of remember that game. It kind of dawned on me. I said, I'll just throw it out there, and hey, pick one person each team, and I'll retweet 10 winners, because back then retweeting was high currency. People thought that was a way to build followers and stuff, and I just couldn't believe how quickly popular it got. And I put Bucci Overtime Challenge. It's kind of a clunky name. If I ever hired a focus group, we probably would have come up with something a lot shorter and easier. But I think that's kind of the charm. It's just kind of a big, long, clunky, literal name, and it just and then by the end of that first year, I was like, maybe I'll make T-shirts and give away T-shirt to some winners, and then people have a chance to buy them, and we'll give it away to some hockey charities. And so I bought 1,000 white T-shirts, and my high school buddy Pete Potenzini made the logo to put on the upper back, and then I just put #Bucci Overtime Challenge in the front, and was really nervous. I bought these 1,000 T-shirts.
Yeah, that's an investment.
And for about $8 a piece. And people were, and I didn't have a website. I had nothing. People were just mailing me money in envelopes, like in cash and checks.
I'd love to see that scene. Yeah,
I had no idea what I was doing, And then I met somebody. Hey, you can do a GoDaddy account. All right, that sounds good. People can PayPal you at least. Okay, that's good. And then another guy says we can do Shopify. Then they could use credit cards. Oh, okay, that's good. I just, like I said, I really didn't. I just kind of did it for fun on Twitter, and that just kind of took off. And I've given over $250,000 away to hockey charities, and
that's the best part.
Sold all kinds of stuff and made good connection with people. It's fun to do that. And so, it's been pretty rewarding. Sometimes I wish I would have kept the money and just paid off my mortgage, but what are you going to do? It's been fun writing checks for different charities, and I paid for a club hockey player's tuition one semester. Went to Xavier, and just all these fun little different things to be involved with. Now, like I said, I'm going to give these women student athletes a little bit of name, image, likeness, cash for them, and to help maybe grow their game and give them some attention and some shine. So it's been fun. Hockey's been a gift for me at every level. Now with the NHL coming to ESPN and having a chance to do play-by-play and host a show on ESPN, and and hopefully do some playoff games and going back again to the All-Star games and Stanley Cup Finals. To be a rights holder again is really cool. So it's a good way to kind of wind down my career here. I'm kind of on the back nine and do it frozen for a few more years. And I'd like to have some, give it away to some young kid so he can enjoy it how I've enjoyed it. I'll do it for a few more years, maybe 3 to 5 more years. I think that'll be a good time to pass the mantle to somebody else. I don't want to be one of those old fogies just holding on to my job doing play-by-play. So college deserves a fresh, younger voice, and so I'll be looking forward to, like I said, maybe do a few more years. I think in 5 years it's in Vegas, and I think that might be a good one to.
Yep,
that might be a good
you got to be there for that.
Yeah, that's the closeout right there.
Go out on top. Left the building, and I'll be out the door. So that might be good. We got Boston, then Tampa, then I think St. Paul, St. Louis, and then Vegas.
That's
so
perfect.
If I can make it to 5 years, I think that'd be a good one to finish on.
I agree with you, and fans will obviously
you guys can take over.
Hey, we love it. We love it. No, we appreciate.
You heard it here, ESPN.
You doing the job that you've done, obviously, and what you've done for charities. That's very nice of you, and that's huge for what you've done for the game in itself. And like you said, now the NHL is coming to ESPN. That's huge for not only the NHL, but just the game of hockey in general.
More eyes on everything.
Sure. I hope we can shine more light on college. I've kind of recommended to ESPN maybe show a regular season game.
Yeah.
On ESPN, do like a doubleheader, college game at 7, NHL game at 9:30. Maybe show Michigan, Ohio State game, and then show an NHL game.
Yep.
With
that
maybe the team, with one of the guys that they drafted, with Sabres or Owen Power or Matty Beniers in Seattle. So we'll see. I'll do what I can. It's a great game, and it's a great game to share because I just think it's a great game. And the more people who get into it and immerse themselves into it, I think it can really enrich your life. It's great people, and it's enriched mine. I love it. It's been such a great gift, and certainly the best parts of my life have come from hockey. So it's been awesome, and like I said, it's so cool that now we have the NHL back along with college at ESPN.
Wow, that was chilling. That was chilling.
Came a long way.
Along that note, though, we ask every player or coach that we have on this podcast. Would you what advice would you have for any kids aspiring to be a Division I, Division III NHL player? What advice would you give to the young generation?
Well, certainly, it starts with love. It starts with passion for the game. When I dropped my son Jack off to practice when he was, 6 years old is when he started playing travel hockey. Seemed a little young, but he was self-motivated. I never had to wake him up. He always was very self-motivated, which is most of these athletes are. That's kind of like almost a prerequisite. And but I always told him to be the hardest worker and have the most fun, and that's really what it comes down to. Wayne Gretzky loved practice, Ray Bourque loved practice, Michael Jordan loved practice. It's really loving everything, and just loving the game is number one. You have to have love, and that's where it starts. And then it just comes doing the work and doing the grind. And another thing I always told my son Jack, that really comes down to, I call it the 4 C's. It starts with compete. You just have to compete. Life is about being a competitor in every field of life. You have to compete. You have to battle. It's not easy. So if you compete, first you compete. You can't do anything unless you're a competitor. Yep. And then from there it's composure. You got to be able to have composure. There's going to be problems. There's going to be adversity. There's going to be challenges. You're going to fall behind. You've got to keep your composure so you can concentrate. Concentrate is how you figure things out. How are we going to do this? How are we going to get there? How are we going to win this game? How am I going to do this? So you can't have concentration unless you have composure. So you got to compete. You got to make sure you have composure so you can concentrate. Then you have confidence. And once you're competing, and once you have your composure, and then once you can see your way through concentration, through training and your plan and your battle, and you're not going to give in to temptation, then you can have your confidence. And I remember I told my son, and to me, it was the Atlanta Falcon New England Patriot 28-3 deficit when he saw Tom Brady on the sideline. Yeah. He never stopped competing.
No,
right. But he kept his composure so he could concentrate and figure this out. Okay, we have to score every time and get one turnover. That's what they knew. And they knew that because they were concentrating. And like I told my son, they were not confident, I think, until they got to overtime and won the coin toss. Even when they're coming from behind, they're still not confident. They're concentrating and competing. Then when they won the coin toss in overtime, we're going to win. That's when their cockiness and confidence comes in. It can't come in too early. It's got to only come at that moment when, now we're going to go down the field, score a touchdown, and win. And they did. So I just love that game because I think it's the perfect. I just thought about that, and that's where the 4 C's kind of came to me. Competition, composure, concentration, confidence, and that's when you can win. So that's what you got to have when you're a youngster and you're identified with talent. You got to have skill. It's a sport of skill. You're just not going to play unless you have skill. Then from there, it's doing all those things and then getting a break. You got to get lucky, no doubt about it. Right place, right time. It doesn't matter. And but that's really what it comes down to. And you can do it too. Like so many times I watch these college hockey players and I watch a game. It's like, why aren't some of these guys going absolutely crazy, going all out every shift? Because you can do it. There's opportunity there to own a moment, own a game, own a job, own a podcast, whatever it is. But you got to bring it. You got to go. Life is short. You got to bring it hard. Just go, man. Don't hold back. Don't do halfway. Just go. There's so many opportunities for young people to take stuff, but it's like they don't want to take it. Go, man. I mean, I'm a complete talentless hack, and I've turned out okay.
Okay. I'm fired up right now.
I'm fired up.
Let's go. Okay, I might have to cut the swear, but yeah, you're right. Like that reminds me of like Bobby Trevino. Like he was, not heavily recruited, and then he outworked everybody and basically took UMass. That overtime winner.
Didn't have the size or anything.
Bulldogs, against him. That's a guy who just competed, especially last year. So
again, and that's the most important one is compete. Nothing happens unless you're a competitor. That's where it starts. And then it's composure, concentration, confidence. But you gotta compete. You got to fight. You got to scratch. You got to keep showing up. You got to not call in sick. You got to do the little things. You got to manage your time. You got to eat the right food. You got to lift those weights. You got to run those hills. You got to be unselfish. You got to empower people. You got to make people feel good. You got to be a good teammate. You got to be coachable. It's like, but it all starts with being a competitor, whether you have uber talent or no talent. And of course, the best players are the Sidney Crosby, who's the hardest worker and the most talented.
He's got it all.
You can't beat the most talented player who's the hardest worker. I don't care. You'll never do it.
It's a tough matchup.
That's the ideal. That's the ideal, is to work as hard as you can, and then whatever talent you have, you'll maximize it. But a lot of people don't. That's why if you do, you're going to be ahead of the game in every field of life, because most people don't do that.
I mean, that's the most complete answer we've got on that question. So, yeah, 100%.
That was good. But I guess my one last question for you, Bucci, is what team does have those 4 C's? Who's going to compete? Who's your pick to win the national championship this year if you have to pick right now?
On the spot.
Yeah, that's a good one. Certainly UMass proved they did last year, but now there's new players in. And, obviously the UMD has done that for a decade. North Dakota has that in their DNA, but do they have enough talent? They might have the best player in college hockey, but do they have enough players, to do that? But, certainly I look at, and St. Cloud State is a team, like you said, brought everybody back, has the skill, has the experience, and now they have the disappointment to use as motivation. And that's why, and that's what resiliency comes into play. That's why a lot of teams, they need that big disappointing loss to examine themselves, have a chip for motivation to get up early and work out and get up and practice hard and to string good practices together and good months of play together to culminate with a chance to win a championship. So certainly St. Cloud's in a great position to do that. And they would probably be my pick. I kind of like them from head to toe, from head coach to player. Michigan, again, I want them to get to the Frozen Four because I think it'd be good for college hockey.
Absolutely,
they're kind of the rock stars of the sport this year. Kind of like the Fab Five they had back in the day in basketball, and so it would be good. But it's hard for young people to come together and not look forward to that next step. That's what we talked about. One reason why older players are good teams with older players is because that's going to be their final moment really of hockey. It's going to be their best moment ever. When a kid's a first round pick, he knows there's millions of dollars in the NHL waiting on the other side. Will he go all in like Cale Makar did, one of the few who knows they're going to play pro hockey, but still go all in college hockey?
Yep.
The 1 foot out the door thing, it's hurt BU recently, and now we'll find out if it hurts Michigan. Will they be all in to try to create a great hockey moment for the rest of their lives, which is how we should always live every single season, or will they have 1 foot out the door? And if that's the case, they won't win. It's as simple as that.
Well put, but the Huskies,
the Huskies,
St. Cloud fans hearing this juiced.
guess where we're going this weekend, St. Cloud. We might have to release that audio just for this video. Yeah, that's going to be good. I mean, that's a great pick.
And love the coach and love everybody they're bringing back. And
Brodzinski healthy too.
Yep, Brodzinski's going to come back hungry.
Coming back from injury and a lot to play for, and that shows his commitment. It's kind of like a UMD kind of vibe about St. Cloud this year, and that's a dangerous vibe.
That's a
very dangerous, yeah.
Well, that's a great pick, and hey, college hockey's back, people.
Yep,
let's go.
Yeah, let's go. You heard it right there from John Buccigross. Season is here. John, thanks for joining us today. We're very excited to get the season going.
Appreciate it.
Thankful for having you on.
Thanks for everything you guys do for college hockey. You provide great content on Twitter, and really cool. Keep it up. You do a great job.
Thank you very much. We'll stay in touch.
Thank you, John. Have a good night.
Peace out. Booyah.
See ya.
John Buccigross from ESPN.
Let's go, boys.
I am fired up. It's Saturday morning if you're listening to this. We're heading to St. Cloud, Minnesota, going to the Herb. Huskies take on the Tommies tonight. I am just juiced. I don't even need smelling salts. I am going to release the smelling salts video. We probably will release it this morning, but from St. Cloud fans, but we don't even need it. We are juiced. The college hockey legend, John Buccigross, right here, folks. I'm speechless.
Yeah, I mean, let's get after it. Let's see Sofo in the corners. Let's see everybody returning for St. Cloud. The dog pound back at Herb.
Let's play for the fans, players. Yeah. I mean, the barns are packed again. We're ready to be there.
Legs feed the wolf. I mean,
I am
let's
juiced,
see him flying out there.
I don't even need to work out tonight. I thought I did. Don't.
No.
I mean, we are going. No, we have to, though.
I saw a lot of things happening tonight. I did not see the 4 C's coming out.
The 4 C's came out, man. And
followed by just multiple let's goes from Bucci. Wow. Okay. Gosh. Yeah. Good thing I brought the tank.
He should sell that audio at like GNC. Who needs pre-workout anymore? Just play that audio for me once. I mean,
the guy is in pretty good shape. Have you seen him?
Yeah, no, I've seen him.
I think he just talks himself into it. He's just like, I'm gonna freaking get huge today.
I mean, you've seen his success. You know, takes
a touch of weight.
And his role too. It's different. Like you said, you have to do it to have a podcast, to do anything in life, to be a professional player.
Right.
To do his job too, to be a sportscaster. I mean, everything he does is insane, and it's a lot of work. And as he's mentioned, you know,
been there
how many DMs he's getting, all this stuff. Yeah, he's been doing it forever. And if you're going to do it forever, you need those 4 C's, and you need to have success. And he's done it all. And while it was an honor, for us, just getting our foot in the door in college hockey, to have him on is a blessing and something we're excited for and we're going to learn from. And here we are. College hockey's here.
Oh, we got a breakaway here.
Here comes Miller. Yeah. Will he make it 3-0? Yes.
What's up, buddy? Yell everything this time. You know
Haven, Connecticut is jumping out this moment. The Yale Bulldogs, for the first time, are national champions.
Yellow Lambs, yellow MPs, yellow Watch, yellow Charm Ring,
Minnesota territory. Shane Gostisbehere with the twisted wrister.
No 20s in my gun.
More ECAC pride. Back-to-back national championships, Yale and Pittsburgh, Union in Philadelphia. A hockey tradition is born in the city of brotherly love. Union in Philadelphia are champions.
In it goes. O'Connor catches. He'll leave. Oh, it's in! Oh my God! Matt O'Connor for the second straight game gives the opponent a gimme, and we're tied at 3. He wins the faceoff. Tanev, shot, score! Saucy Rossi can't get it out. Grizzlick down below in front. Little Rhodey, big man on campus. Here comes Lagunov, shorthand. Oh, what a dangle! Oh, what a goal! Save! Watch out! Watch out! UMass are national champions!
I'm in a tricky little mood. I trick these little dudes. I tell them that I love them, but I never really do. See, I like pretty shoes.